Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do part 2 of our city pizza restaurant. Last time we did the insides and the main build. Today I'm going to do the signage, the roof, and all of the scene out front, and hopefully get it into the city. Awesome, let's go! Right, well the first thing I said I was going to do was add a load of stickers to the glass on the front, and that's exactly what I have done. I used the ones from the sticker pack 853921, and as you can see from this sheet, I've used an absolute load. There's barely any pizza ones left. There were absolutely loads before, and yeah, I've kind of caked the front and the inside a little bit, but I hope not too much, because the consensus seemed to be that I didn't want to put too much on these windows so we couldn't see in at the scenes that we'd spent all that time doing. So I've got a round one on each door, just saying City Pizza, the bigger one at the bottom of each window saying City Pizza, and an offer on each side. So I've got the one with the sort of exploding chef head on that side, and the one with the pizza deal on the other side. So I think that is probably still too much, but that's my problem. I'm always adding too many, really. I just really like them. But I put a big one on the oven on the back of it, just because that was a very plain surface otherwise. And I figured this kitchen probably continues off, so there's a reminder of the menu or maybe the ingredients for the people preparing the food on the inside as well. So I doubt we'll ever see that, because it's a hard to view angle back into the back of this open back building, deliberately so. So we'll probably never see that, but it's quite nice to show you now. And I was kind of getting carried away. And a few more for the outside scene. That is a big menu for somebody to be perusing, deciding which pizza they're going to go for. So somebody will be holding that. And then I'm going to have two of these, which I'm going to use as a bill. And they can be on empty tables that are full of dirty crockery, basically, where somebody has paid and left. So that is quite a good one as well, just with a little logo on there. So yeah, we'll be using all of those. And the only other change that I did in the intervening period was just to slightly play with the spacing of all these three pizza slices from the costume pizza guy, and basically add one more round plate to these two and take one off that one, just so they fit in even better. And I think that makes for an almost perfect pizza shape. Cool, right, so talking of big 3D pizzas, we're on to signage now. I said last time I wanted to have a great big 3D sign on the roof as well as the canopy. So basically I thought, why not have a giant pizza on a stick in the sky? So that's what we're going to do next. Well, as we established last time, my city is full of City Pizza advertising, including on the back of this bus with this sticker from the 60026 Town Centre set from 2013, stuck on the back of it with a chef and a pizza, very appropriate. And also the more recent pizza van 60150 also has a pizza, this time with a moustache, very proudly holding his pizza aloft. So that seems to be the logo of this place. So that's what I thought I'd try and do in 3D form. So who better to do it than the chef Gordon Zola, which is a name I love, from the set 70805, Trash Compactor from 2014, the Lego movie. And I just love his super concerned face. I'm not sure it's appropriate as a 3D sign, but then again, I just love the moustache, so I'm keeping it. So maybe he's just super concerned that you have a piping hot pizza. But anyway, so I've given him a pizza. He's got the pan that he comes with. And yeah, I just thought he would be ideal as part of our 3D sign. But that isn't enough, really. It needs a backdrop. And I could do a pattern with tiles or something like that. But I did already have another Duplo pizza. Now this one is slightly different from the one that I put onto the pizza place that I'm now calling Antonio's Pizza next to the Jazz Club as part of the modular. I did stick one on that, and this one and that one both came on the Duplo set 10834 Pizzeria from 2017. So yeah, somewhere, sadly, there's a Duplo pizzeria without any pizzas somewhere in the world. But there's actually a third one as well on a white background, on a kind of white plate, it looks more like, than a sort of dish. That's not as good in my opinion. And this one's got the pepperoni and chilies on, so it's obviously a American hot or something like that. So I thought that would be a really good backdrop for him, as a circular sign, sort of spinning around or something like that, so it could be seen from all angles. And that's just absolutely great in representing the pizzas on offer from this side of the building, with the pizza oven and the kitchen and so on. But hang on, there's also another side of this establishment, isn't there? We've already done that. That's the gelato. Loads of lovely ice cream on sale as well. And I also had, competing with Gordon Zola, this character who I was long planning to add to a 3D sign, probably an advert for ice cream in my city somewhere. And he's the ice cream cone character. I've just given it an extra lolly and Mr. Whippy for his hands, that came in the set 70822, Unikitty's Sweetest Friends Ever from 2019, which was, Lego Movie 2, I think. And wow, it's just brilliant with all these patterned bricks and all the rest of it, cherry on top. So he's just fantastic, isn't he? And originally I was going to sort of pin him somehow to this gold round 8x8 thing as kind of the back of a billboard, and just stick that on the side of a building, and then maybe get some sort of ice cream sticker and have it all around the base there or something like that. So that was the competition for Gordon Zola. 2 round signs representing the 2 halves of our business. But then I thought, well, hold on, why am I doing one or the other? We've got 2 inside the building. We'll have both being eaten out the front. Why do we not have 2 signs or 1 back-to-back sign? Oh yeah. So that's what I thought I'd have. And given that it would be one thing on one side and one thing on the other, it would obviously need to revolve so you always saw both things on offer. So that was my plan, and a very good plan it is too. So we could get 2 of these and kind of have them back to back and join them somehow. So we've got the studs sort of on the outside of both sides. And that's quite similar to the technique I just used on that train wagon we just did, the torpedo wagon. But that would be quite a deep, thick, deep dish, if you will, sign. And I'd rather have mine much more thin and crispy, low profile. So I figured I'd stick one to the studs and one to the anti-stud side. And I don't think that should be too tricky. So, so for the anti-stud side, the way that you attach one of these very clunky on the back Duplo pieces to regular Lego is basically getting a couple of these 4x4 round plates, just sticking them onto the anti-studs there, and then just push this on. Just line it up and hey presto, it's attached. That is going absolutely nowhere. So when I did it on the other one, all you have to do is make sure that you can attach that to the railings of the thing, or even you can do the whole thing in reverse and have anti-studs to attach to the railing by some modified plate or other. So that is really simple. Then I just need kind of a plinth for him to stand on. Yeah, very good. And then on this side, I thought I'd add a bit more decor because he's just an ice cream on a black background. So I thought I'd add a couple more ice cream cones as back decor. And then this stick, which has got the glowing lights for green, white and red of the Italian flag. And then that bracket is one of those sort of old big space ones I can kind of use as a neck brace on this guy because he's quite actually hard to attach to things, especially with that great big head he's got of his ice cream, because that sort of pushes his body away from whatever background you try and push him on. So there we go. So then I can attach that to there, or maybe one lower. Let's do that. There we go. So he's got a bit of a neck bracket in black there, but I don't think that detracts from him. And he's looking rather great with all that ice cream surrounding him. So then I just need a plinth on the other side, which I can also use to kind of pin that round plate in by grabbing it from both sides and doing that. And then we've got a nice little area for him to stand on. And he can just stand on there. And there we go. Looking concerned, but holding his pizza. And then this whole thing will revolve. And we will see both of the characters in equal measure. Now, I'm not going to motorise this, and that will probably give some of you a groan. Oh, go on, Robin, motorise it. It'll be brilliant. I just don't really want wires and everything. And kind of I'm usually a fan of play features in these old city sets. They do it less so nowadays. I mean, I suppose they have walls exploding and things to aim at with water cannon and so on. But I quite like the old-fashioned sort of handle where you can make something turn around. And I think we can do the same here by incorporating some sort of turning mechanism into the roof and have it just turned manually by a finger. So what I'm going to do is add on the very bottom some Technic bricks with the X on, just so we've got some way of attaching them to an axle. And then I can have this sort of setup, which is another one of those gearboxes that we just used on our torpedo wagon, that can be turned via these sort of grippy beveled gear here as like handles that will turn this whole setup on the top with one of those big 4x4 turntable pieces, and that could just slot on there, and then essentially we will be able to do that, and it'll look rather smashing if you ask me. Now, I also had a couple of these signs, these sort of City Pizza main signs, because I collect multiple stickers wherever I see them on all my brick hauls. So I had 2 more of those that I thought I could augment this sign with. So if you were kind of over there or right behind this building, you'd still know that it was City Pizza, not just any old pizza place that you were looking at. And that's why I left this 2 wide space available. So I could put a City Pizza one on that side, then a couple of bricks just for texture, put these lines on, very nice. And then I moved another one of these stickers onto the sort of anti-tile that you can now get on 2x4. I thought I might have to do it sticker cross assembly, but then I realised I bought some of these for something completely different, so I pinched one. So I moved that sticker onto that piece using my patented hot tea technique. And that means that I can kind of pin it onto the back of that. So now if you're looking at Gordon or the ice cream, then, well, you'll be able to see that it's City Pizza underneath. And I think that looks like a very sort of, I guess, American, sort of Las Vegas-y sort of 3D spinning sign, all neon lights brightly lighting it up and looking absolutely fabulous from every direction. So clearly this is too tall to keep in shot vertically, as I've currently got this camera set up, but you can see it definitely works very easily. So I just have to make that accessible into our roof build next, and then, well, I'll do it from a further angle, and you'll be able to actually see all of it in one shot. Hey, so roof on, and there it is. So it's a similar black roof to the original donor set, from that 60026 Town Centre set. But yeah, that looks amazing with our 3D sign on the top, City Pizza halfway up the stem, all those bright lights, and the ice cream man, or is it revolving away Gordon Zola with the big 3D pizza? So yeah, you can see that on either side I can turn this with a finger, because it's just basically located around the lip of the roof. So you have to know it's there, but it's completely concealed from practically every direction, bar kind of lifting up and having a peer inside. Can you even see it in there? It's kind of up at the top of that chimney on that side, or up above the arch on that. So you really, really can't, I don't think, at all. So that makes it all the better. A very secret play feature that I know is there that I can use to spin my 3D sign. And I suppose you can do it manually if you really want to as well. So how about that? This is absolutely caked in stickers now, signs, 3D pizza pieces, top and bottom, as well as no doubt that they sell ice cream as well. So I think that is the building done. This pillar will be at the end of here, across the kind of walkway around the edge of the quayside. It's just there for the moment. We've got some menus, but we need a lot more stuff outside as well. We need tables, we need umbrellas, we need loads of food and drink. And I thought I'd do the whole area with a slightly different tiling sort of setup that I usually do in my city. I thought I'd have cobblestones. So I'm going to use 1,000,001 little 1x1 round grey tiles and some plates for holding on to things like the tables and chairs. And it's going to take an age to stick them all onto the 32x32 base plate. And then I'll have to transfer this monster onto that. So yeah, everything I do, I'm doing 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But anyway, it'll be worth it in the long run. So let's get going on the outside. Wow, does anybody else get really sore finger and thumb tips from pushing down an absolute load of these tiles? I certainly do. Anyway, this is what I've come up with, and it looks a bit random at the moment, but it will all make sense because I've planned it and everything. Right, at the back corner, we've got a couple of waste bins and a waste bag, and that was inspired by the original set, really having a few bins there. I quite like that idea, and I'm going to, just like they did, have that behind some white fencing. I'm going to continue the fencing around, but it's going to be about here, essentially, when I get it in situ. And I thought I'd put some nice flower boxes on big sections. They're just sort of studs pushed into the fence holes there. That is a legal build technique, believe it or not, so that's fine. So that'll go all along that edge. This square, as you probably worked out, is where the actual restaurant's going to be transferred onto in a minute. And then you may have noticed there's absolutely loads of 1x1 studs in here, as well as the tiles, and that's where I'm going to be putting all of my other stuff. So essentially, in lots of places, like say here, I've got places for 2 chairs, and then I can put on one of my tables. So I've done them all with this lovely umbrella with the green and red on the white for the continued theme, and I've got them loaded with pizzas and wine glasses, or spaghetti dishes if you wrongly want pasta. And that's got the meatballs on. That was part of the 41379 La Locanda Heart Lake City restaurant set from 2019. So they'll be nice and visible there. So we've got that. We've got the bill when you've asked for it, and some of the gelato. So I'm calling that my tiramisu, even though the yellow is a bit of an odd choice. And one of those pistachio ice cream sundaes. We've got the quarter tile pizzas. We've got somebody just arriving with a menu to look at, and so on. And a deserted table with just dirty glasses on, and that paid bill, and even an empty one. So yeah, I can put any of these onto one of the places there and really start to build up my outdoor area. So I've, as I say, planned this so it is packed and stacked, whilst also looking very realistic and being sort of sympathetic to the surroundings, because we've got a lot of surroundings to incorporate here. Over here we've got the subway, not subway station, the monorail station. It's going to be up to right about here, up to those flower boxes. Here, these studs are actually that subway station entrance. So basically people are going to walk in underneath this arch thing that's going to be about here, through here, round on these big stepping stone type cobbles, round to the bit underneath the monorail track and kind of nearer the bridge for kind of a viewpoint, I suppose. And that is where I'm going to have arguably the best scene of all. This is supposed to be a manhole, and the black is supposed to represent shadow. And what I'm going to do there is just have one of these vent pieces kind of to one side, like that was the metal grill that was pushed to one side. And I'm going to have the torso of one of my turtles, probably, well, Michelangelo, is he the one that goes for pizzas? He definitely is hungry for pizzas all the time. Sticking out of there, so I'll probably lose his legs. So I'll change the scene of the Ninja Turtle lair that's underneath here. And then I can have one of my waiting staff, who I've got all with the same old school moustache head on, being surprised, or maybe just delivering the pizza standing on this stud here. He's going to have a little stack there of city pizzas. But then I thought maybe he would be shocked by the fact that it hadn't ordered to table 13 and they only had sort of 12 tables or whatever the number is, and these would be dropped on the floor, and he would be sort of on his back in shock at a turtle having sprung out of the hole, and then maybe I could give him a really shocked face instead. But then they wouldn't all have the same head, so I'd lose that joke. So maybe I'd just do it like this, with that head, not the surprise one, but with him sort of on his behind. So yeah, so I think I'll do that. I've talked myself into it. I've got another member of staff just bringing out a big loaf of bread for somebody who's incredibly hungry. Maybe it's garlic bread. Yeah, that'd be nice. It's the future. I've tasted it. And then I thought, why not have somebody pestering all of our good patrons with the Series 16 mariachi player? So yeah, there he is with his big tash and his guitar, and he can just be wandering around the tables, playing to people who really don't want to be played to. And then I can continue the fencing on the front and wherever it will fit. I think I'll have a little bit underneath the arch as well. And then that menu we've got on the side of the build with the Italian flag on yet again, I've got a second one of those as well. So I can have that as one that's right out front and centre that appeals to passers-by. And then I've got a banknote to give to the turtle to be paying for his pizzas. And yeah, you can see the sort of scene that I'm going for. And I've even got some corner posts for my fences in lime to tie that up. And yeah, it's going to overflow this base plate onto all the surrounding areas to really tie it in with its surroundings. So yeah, let me continue with that and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so this is my scene. Now there's going to be more pathway over here, that underground entrance there, monorail thing there. This isn't all attached, but essentially it's going to be very busy indeed. In fact, we need a turtle for this scene as well, don't we? But wow, it's a hive of activity, isn't it? Loads and loads of tables and umbrellas. We've got the empty one with the bill. We've got people with all the desserts on this one. Loads of food on this one. And I've used a disgusted face for this guy here who's seen the turtle and is horrified. He's putting him off his dinner. We've got a couple of girlfriends having lunch here. An empty table with a menu on. And then I'll put Pizza Ronnie on with a huge stack of pizzas. So you can see he's working on this one and he's got loads more lined up afterwards. So I thought that was quite a good scene to use him. Got a couple here. She's very annoyed by the mariachi guy. And so is this guy. He's like, is he really playing to us now? And yeah, nobody's enjoying that guy at all. So it sucks to be him. But I've also added the flags on the top that I forgot to add that were part of the original set, but I've just added a lot more. And wow, I think it's just looking really colourful and interesting. That's a fence post for over there. Got some for there with those flower baskets. Yeah, this just really needs installing in the city. So I'm going to remove all of my sort of dogs, the dog collection that's been growing and growing with all my brick halls, the Santa scene with the SSP and so on. Put this in and then fill in all of the surrounding bits so it's seamless with everything else. Oh, let's go and do that. That'll be awesome. Okay, so this is the area where it's all going. The undeveloped prime real estate near the bridges. So we'll have to say goodbye to Santa for now and the SSP who are arresting him. Goodbye to the lamppost glow-in-the-dark experiment. The ice cream van that'll have to move on to a pastures new. And my dog collection, which I'll have to probably spread around and actually give people to walk because they must be making a bit of a mess around here, presumably. And indeed, the coffee chain place, which the joke is that I've got loads of these around the city, just like real life. So I'll have to keep that. We'll need a new site, of course. So I'll clear all this up and then we can get everything transferred. I'm hoping I can still lift up that base plate because otherwise I'm going to have to do all those studs a second time. I couldn't bear that. Well, the turtles are hungry, but don't worry because Michelangelo is on the case. He's come street side to make an order for pickup and surprised this waiter in the process by popping out of the manhole cover. I had hoped to do just half of the turtle sort of coming out, but that half shell on the back goes below his waist, so effectively that wouldn't work. But that's fine with him all out. I think the scene still works. In front of City Pizza. Wow, now that is a very bright scene. I love the really tall 3D sign, sort of punctuating the skyline. Very tall indeed. But all that colour as well. The umbrellas do a lot of the work, but that lime brickwork, all the signage, and all of the food and people, quite frankly. I just love that pepperoni character eating his absolutely huge stack of pizzas. That was a very late idea. But all the people sort of looking at the turtle in disgust. We got him and her looking round as well. Really adds to the scene. And it's incorporated with the surroundings that we already had, being the subway entrance going down into the depths. Also the blind man walking along there. I've still kept the dog show champion coming back from the dog show with his dogs, but the rest are waiting to be used elsewhere. Then we've got our flowers all along that side with the monorail station. Our monster hunter's still looking for our swamp creature. He's there, don't tell him. And our little boy fishing the huge dinosaur creature. So yeah, I really like that scene. It looks pretty good if you ask me. It's a long way from the original set. And the flags rippling in the wind going towards the harbour, like all the flags in my city should be. And then there's that play feature, of course, which I can just reach over there and spin that revolving sign. Very good fun indeed. So, yeah, we moved the coffee shack that has now gone onto Old Market Square because it's important that we've got too many of those in the city. So it's a bit perilously close to the edge. So maybe you buy a coffee and then fall off, who knows? But that looks good. And for now, I've just parked the ice cream van over here because we can't have that too near City Pizza's gelato or they'll get angry and chase them off. So yeah, that looks pretty good as well. Nothing wasted. I have to get the dogs incorporated again because there's far too many to go to waste. But yeah, I think that looks really good. It's really nice now to have an area that's fully dressed, so to speak, with all those cobbles that did take an absolute age to get right, I must say. But now at least we can't see any base plates. At least there's a tiny bit underneath the platform there, but not too bad. And it's really nice to get some of these fabulous signs in. That 3D pizza from the costume guy on here and the one up here and that ice cream thing, just breaking up the city. It's really nice to use unusual pieces in unusual places. So I really like that. And obviously the scenes, paying the bill, eating your dessert and all the rest of it, bringing out some bread, and indeed seeing the scenes on the inside. I mean, we can still very easily see the gelato and the boss there next to the chef at the pizza oven. It's all very visible, that black and white floor and so on, and that's what I really like about these open back buildings. You can see really into them, much like this ice cream place, which will now be going out of business, presumably, and all the other ones along this run, much more than you can, say, into a modular. It's just black, isn't it? So that is the benefit of this style of building. But I think that's gone really well. Do tell me if you think I can improve it, or if there's a way to attach Michelangelo with his half shell. But I don't think that's too bad. It's still quite obvious what's going on. I like it. Yeah, that's a really good addition. Oh, and we've got then around this side the bins and that notice for Tatiana's place. So yeah, looks really nice. All of those signs and interesting tiles visible from all sorts of different viewpoints. Fantastic. I absolutely love that. What a success. Well, this side of Brick Bay has had quite a few places to eat for a long time, with the Parisian restaurant, the diner, the crab shack, fish and chips, and the pub. But now they've got some competition on the other side, what with the floating Chinese restaurant and now City Pizza. I kind of like the idea of the people waving at each other across the water of Brick Bay, maybe shouting to see who can make the most noise. That's a fun thought. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, it'll be Monday, so we'll be doing another build in the city, or maybe the cabinet, perhaps filling another long overdue area. And then Wednesday, we're doing a brick haul. And if you want to send something to a future brick haul, you can by sending it to the usual P.O. Box address. So, until all of that, see you! Awesome pizzas, dude.